everyone. Welcome back to Daily Easy English Talk. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, let's dive into something pretty surprising that's been unfolding. We're talking about Elon Musk and Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's been quite the roller coaster. From allies to very public falling out, and now maybe reconciliation.
Exactly. It all happened incredibly fast, like within the span of about a week. And the shift now, well, it's caught a lot of people off guard.
Especially given how intense things got online.
Yeah.
Some really strong words were exchanged.
Absolutely. So our goal today is to sort of unpack this whole thing for you. We're looking at several articles that came out today, June 11th, 2025, from places like Global News, BBC, CNN, The Independent, The Guardian.
Right. We've pulled together the key points from these sources to give you a clear picture of what happened, why it all blew up, and what might be behind this sudden attempt to, well, mend fences.
So maybe we should start with a little background, because they weren't always fighting, were they?
No, not at all. The sources remind us Musk was actually a big donor to Trump's 2024 campaign, and he even worked in the administration for a bit.
Oh, right. He headed up that department. DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency.
That's the one. Aimed at cutting waste, streamlining things. So yeah, they seem to have a pretty close working relationship back then.
But then, not long after Musk left that role, things started to go sour. Publicly, anyway. What was the first big flashpoint?
It really seems to center around that big congressional spending bill.
Yeah.
The one Trump himself called the One Big Beautiful Bill.
Okay. And Musk had thoughts on that bill.
Oh, he definitely had thoughts, and they were strong. The articles quote him calling it a massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill.
Wow. Okay. He didn't mince words.
Not at all.
Yeah.
He also apparently called it a disgusting abomination. His whole argument was that it didn't have enough spending cuts, and he believed it would actually trigger a recession later this year.
So he wasn't just complaining about it privately.
No, he was very public, urging people, call your representative, kill the bill. He was actively campaigning against it.
And didn't he also sort of threaten politicians who supported it?
He did, yeah. The sources mention him, warning of political punishment. He apparently wrote something like, in November next year, we fire all politicians who betrayed the American people.
So this went way beyond just a policy disagreement. He was directly challenging people who sided with Trump on this.
Pretty much, yeah, including the president himself, by implication.
How did Trump take that, from someone who used to be an ally and worked for him?
Well, according to the reports, Trump was surprised and not happy. He told the New York Post he was not a happy camper about it.
Not a happy camper. Understated, perhaps.
Maybe. The White House initially tried to, play it down a bit, said Trump wasn't surprised by Musk's opinions. Musk was just criticizing Congress. But that comment set the tone.
And things just went downhill from there?
Pretty rapidly, yes. The sources say the relationship deteriorated. That's when the real public back and forth started, the hurling insults over social media, as one article put it.
And some of those insults got pretty intense, right? Didn't Musk bring up Jeffrey Epstein?
He did. That was probably one of the most explosive claims. He suggested there were things about Trump's ties to Epstein in unreleased Epstein files.
Okay, we need to pause there for a second. It's really important to state, as the sources do, that Musk made that claim.
But the White House completely dismissed it. And, crucially, the articles point out there's absolutely no evidence to support it.
Right. We're just reporting that the accusation was made publicly as part of this feud. It's not about validating the claim itself.
Exactly. Impartiality is key here.
Yeah.
Musk also apparently agreed with someone on social media who suggested Trump should be impeached. Just replied, yes.
Wow. So from disagreeing on a bill to Epstein claims and impeachment talk, that's quite an escalation.
Huge escalation. And Trump's reaction was, well, predictable in its intensity.
What did he say?
He said Musk had lost his mind. And then he hit back with something that had potentially huge consequences.
Which was?
He threatened to cancel government contracts with Musk's companies. Billions of dollars worth.
Billions. Seriously, which companies?
The report specifically mentioned SpaceX, which, relies heavily on government work with NASA and the military. He also hinted at rolling back policies that benefited Tesla's electric vehicles.
So he was threatening Musk's core businesses.
Directly. It really shows how these personal or political fights can spill over and create massive business risks. It's not just talk.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just Musk and Trump involved, right? Others started weighing in.
Oh, yeah. It became a wider talking point. Former Trump aide Steve Bannon, for example, went pretty extreme, called for Musk to be deported.
Deported. Wow.
Yeah, it shows you how heated things got. On the other hand, you had Vice President J.D. Vance kind of trying to strike a more conciliatory tone, publicly anyway. He said he hoped Musk would come back into the fold, but admitted Musk had gone nuclear.
Interesting mix of reactions.
And even Musk's own father chimed in, suggesting maybe both his son and Trump were just tired and stressed, a more human take on it all.
So a really messy, very public, high-stakes fight, but then things changed course very quickly.
Incredibly quickly. After all that public drama, the last few days leading up to today, June 11th, seemed to have been all about behind-the-scenes efforts to reconcile.
What kind of efforts?
Well, on Friday, June 7th, the sources say VP J.B. Vance and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles actually got on the phone with Musk.
And what was the aim of that call?
Pretty direct, it seems. They talked about the feud, encouraged him to sort of patch things up with Trump, and also, importantly, urged him to support that spending bill again.
Ah, the bill that started it all.
Exactly. And apparently, Vance had checked with Trump first on how to handle it, and Trump suggested taking a, diplomatic approach.
So the White House was actively trying to broker peace. Anyone else involved?
Yes. House Speaker Mike Johnson was also reportedly in touch with Musk, trying to act as a peacemaker, hoping things would cool down.
Multiple high-level people reaching out, and then Musk himself made a move.
He did. On Monday night, Juneteenth, the sources say Musk called Trump directly.
Okay. And that call seems significant.
Very. It reportedly happened shortly before Musk made his public statement. And even before that call, after the outreach from Vance and Wiles and Johnson, Musk had started backing off.
How so?
He actually deleted some of the most controversial posts. The sources specifically mentioned the Epstein one and the post where he agreed about impeachment. Gone.
So he was actively trying to undo some of the public damage.
Seems like it. Wiping the slate clean, maybe.
Which brings us to that statement early this morning, Wednesday, June 11th, the one that really signaled the shift.
Right. He posted on X, his own platform, and the quote reported in the sources is, "I regret some of my posts about President real Donald Trump last week. They went too far."
They went too far. That's pretty unambiguous, a clear walk back from calling the bill a disgusting abomination and all the rest.
Definitely a major change in public posture. It signals, a desire to de-escalate from his side, at least publicly.
And what was Trump's reaction to Musk's regret?
He commented on it to the New York Post, said he thought it was very nice that he did that, and that he believed Musk feels very badly that he said that.
Did he say anything else?
He also repeated that he had no hard feelings.
No hard feelings after everything that was said. This is also a pretty quick turnaround from not a happy camper and threatening billions in contracts.
It certainly suggests Trump is open to letting it go. Yeah, putting it behind them.
Did the sources mention any immediate effects of Musk's apology?
One interesting little detail. Tesla's stock price apparently saw a slight bump right after Musk posted that statement.
Huh. So the market noticed the de-escalation.
It seems so. It just underlines again how these public spats between really powerful people can have tangible financial ripple effects.
So why the big push for reconciliation now? Especially from the Trump side and his allies, what's the motivation?
According to the sources, a big part of it comes back to that spending bill. It still needs to get through the Senate, and it's facing some opposition. So Republican lawmakers and allies apparently see Musk's support, or at least lack of opposition, as really valuable. They feel his words carry a lot of weight, and getting him on board, or at least neutral, could help push the bill over the line.
Ah, so it's not just about personal feelings. There's a concrete political goal here, getting that legislation passed.
That seems to be a major driver, yes. Political pragmatism. Though sources close to Musk also suggest he might genuinely want to repair the relationship now that perhaps the initial anger has cooled off.
But does this mean Musk is now suddenly a fan of the bill he hated last week?
Not necessarily. The sources are careful to point out that even though he's being receptive and backed off the harsh criticism, Musk still has real concerns about the bill, specifically that it doesn't cut spending enough.
So the personal relationship might be thawing, but the actual policy disagreement might still be there, just quieter.
That seems to be the situation, yeah. The tone has changed dramatically, but the underlying policy issue isn't necessarily resolved.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up. We've seen this whole arc: alliance, public feud, intense accusations, threats, then private calls, deleted posts, public regret, and now, maybe peace. What does this whole episode tell you? the listener?
Well, I think it really highlights a few things from the reporting. First, just how volatile these relationships between powerful figures in politics and business can be. Things can change really fast.
And second, it underscores the real-world risks involved, right? Trump's threats about contracts, the stock market reaction. It shows these aren't just online spats.
Absolutely. And maybe the most interesting part is how much seems to happen behind closed doors. Those private calls from Vance, Wiles, Johnson, and then Musk to Trump, they seem to have directly led to the public shift.
It suggests that sometimes even the most public blowups can be managed, or at least steered, through private diplomacy and negotiation. The public face isn't always the whole story.
Exactly. It shows you how quickly the dynamics can shift when powerful interests align, even after a major falling out.
So, as things stand, based on the sources today, Musk has publicly regretted his comments. Trump has indicated no hard feelings.
Right. Trump hasn't, formally responded on his own social media yet, but his comments to the press suggest the door is definitely open for reconciliation.
Which leaves us with a final thought, maybe something for you to consider. Given how fast this very public, very bitter fight seemed to pivot after those private conversations, what does that suggest about what really drives these kinds of public disagreements between powerful people?
Yeah, is it always about the stated principles or policies? Or are there often other calculations, political needs, business interests, personal relationships that get worked out maybe more effectively away from the public spotlight? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? So don't forget to subscribe to Daily Easy English Talk so you don't miss our next show.
Yeah, please do, and share it with your friends if you found it helpful.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye-bye.